now we are without Connor to give us the pass off, so we gotta do it all ourselves.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about those.
Thrown into the deep end after one stream.
Yeah. We didn't even check the YouTube link.
No, I just started going live, so I will copy the YouTube live stream.
Okay.
Okay. I'll start playing the music. And let me just message the Discords. I need to upgrade my computer because this is really like struggling to have a stream going while also just like having a Google Sheets window open.
I've been looking at upgrading as well. It's quite expensive.
Alright. Give it a couple minutes and we got, I will move this window. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Move my Streamlabs over. Oh, Connor's already connected to his opponent. 7 o'clock on the dot.
Wow. Okay, we gotta get going.
Yes, we did.
Say the line. Do the line, Bart.
Alright. Hey, what's up? This is the Dan V broadcast, and we're coming at you live and alive from sunny Danville, California. I hope all guys, girls, and NBs are having a fantastic day. Dakota, my friend, how are we doing tonight?
We're doing all right. We had a wonderful match last night in a thrilling 3-game set. And I'm hoping to have a similar vibe tonight with our good friend Connor going up against
Stax is his name.
Stax. There it is.
Yes. Stax Rigatoni, as his full Discord name goes.
What a fantastic name.
Yeah, pretty sick. I have not found a good online username for myself ever, so I'm just sticking with myself. And we're jumping right in already. They've already connected before we even went live, and we see the team preview. We got Connor's 6 and Stax's 6, and I think in talking about this earlier with Connor, he's probably got like 4 out of the 6 correct at least.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big one for me that I thought would be here that isn't is Palmot being replaced with the Hisui and Samurott. I'm a little surprised. I mean, the Sacred Sword's good, don't get me wrong, but I figured there might be some better usage there, as well as the Rabambi we had discussed.
Yeah, that I'm particularly surprised about. I think he's kind of left himself without any real speed control, except for maybe Trick Room on Indeedee, maybe like a weird Icy Wind on one of these Pokemon. Like, I guess Excalibur probably learns it, but you're not putting a special attack on that thing. Whereas Connor has no Tailwind option specifically, because I don't think his team has any, other than I guess Vivian doesn't have any Tailwind, but I mean, I was thinking he could bring Hisui and Samurai. It's a really good answer to Chandelure, and it handles a matchup into Mamoswine a little bit better than some of his other Pokemon. But he has Houndoom too, which talking to Connor before, that was like a pain point in the matchup, and I was wondering if Stax would see that too when setting up his team. It looks like he did recognize it, that like Chandelure is one of Connor's real big damage dealers. It's one of the carries of the team, and Houndoom, Flash Fire, Dark type, like, that's a very good matchup.
Right. And there it is, right at the beginning. We have Houndoom and Golden Go against this Mamoswine and Rillaboom. So Connor's off to kind of being in an awkward position from the get-go. Dan, do you have which Pokemon are the Terra Captains?
Yes, the Terra Captains for Stax's team are Braviary, Hisui, Trevenant, and Houndoom. So Houndoom could Terrastallize here into either Fire, Fairy, or Grass type. And it might behoove him to do so into Grass type if in this position at least. Maybe throw Protect at least turn 1, but if he's running Assault Vest, it might be a good idea to go for that Grass type Terra to avoid a super effective high horsepower. But Stax's lead is really, really high pressure, I think, here. Both of these pieces put a lot of onus on Connor to make the reaction. He actually switches it out turn 1, the Houndoom. Switching
Straight
it in for
into
fat
what I
backs.
assume is the fat Excalibur.
He throws at a Make It Rain. That pause there, Connor revealing Connor's Mamoswine had whatever the Steel type berry is called. If I still don't remember, I didn't even get to read it before it went away there. Ooh, Golden Goat gone on turn 1. Really good KO for Connor there, without taking too much damage on his own 2. Still got Rillaboom pretty comfortably at just above 3/4 health, and Mamoswine now above 50%.
Yeah, and I find it interesting that even with the berry, which I believe reduces damage by half, it still did about 50% to the Mamoswine. So I'm curious to see if that Goldengo has an item or a damage boosting item like the Metal Coat or even Choice Specs.
Yeah, Choice Specs could be the item of choice there, because I know Connor probably had his Mamoswine EV'd to live at least 2 Make It Rains, and Make It Rain dropping your special attack every time you use it does give him a chance there to live a second one if Golden Goat had survived. But now Chandelure comes out, pretty smart switch I think from Connor, probably expecting a Heat Wave, Overheat, some kind of fire type attack coming from Houndoom.
Now here we see the Terastallization, and it is the Grass Terra. So good job on Connor for playing it a little bit slow and just protecting that Mamoswine to kind of scope out to see if we could get a Terastallization from his opponent.
Yeah, now it puts him in a good position too, where he can try and throw out special or a super effective Ice type attack. Ooh, a very good sword stance there, predicting a bit more of a passive turn from Connor. And while it does seem like the Chandelure puts a lot of pressure on Houndoom, we gotta remember it's got Flash Fire, so it's not going to be taking any damage from a Heat Wave or Overheat coming from Chandelure. The only way that Connor could really deal a super effective attack, at least in this board state, onto that Houndoom is with an Icicle Crash, or I believe he might have had Ice Shard. I don't remember the full moveset from Mamoswine.
Yeah, and another thing to note with that Heat Wave is that Excalibur may be Thermal Exchange. So while it will do damage, it'll just further boost this attack stat on the Excalibur.
Yeah, so if he wants to take out that Excalibur ASAP, he might rather go for a Shadow Ball into it. Mamoswine goes for the Ice Shard. That's a ton of damage.
That's a lot of damage.
Wow. Connor could have gotten the 2-hit KO there. Unfortunately, didn't double target, but probably going to deal some really strong damage to this Excalibur if he can get the hit off.
Well, and that's a
Life Orb revealed and gets the KO from the self-inflicted damage.
Well done, Connor. Yeah. And just looking at the stats, the Houndoom is about 15 points higher in... Ooh, actually, E. I just missed what happened there.
There's a Glaive Rush into the Chandelure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, depending on Stax's last piece here. Oh, we got Stone Journer. Stony J sitting big on the field.
Stony J sitting pretty, but really I see its primary function being just Wide Guard at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't think this is a bad position, though, because Connor probably has the speed advantage. We did see from his switching view that his Alolan Ninetale is his Scarf, so he can go for a super effective Moonblast into either target, honestly, and go for a Fake Out into the other one just to try and get it off the field. I do kind of lean toward going for the Stone Journer at this point, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have the Excalibur pinned to an extent. Yeah, I think potentially going for, yeah, I think it's just the double protect. Stone Journer's a lot faster than most people realize.
Oh my gosh. I was like, oh, I guess Excalibur isn't protecting this turn. I don't know my speed stats on that Stone Journer. What are we looking at? Base 70 speed. That's respectable. And with the right training, definitely faster.
Yeah, now I think for Connor, I think it's just a simple Moonblast into the Excalibur with a Grassy Glide to cover for any potential damage-reducing items or Focus Sash.
Yeah, I could see that. I see the
I think it's
focus.
a
Sorry, I see the focus sash probably more on the Stone Joiner, but you never know, especially with a draft league like this.
yeah. It's just at +2. I just feel like that Baxcalibur is just such a bigger threat.
It is a big threat, but really only into the Rillaboom. Normally, Baxcaliburs don't carry a move that would be super effective, or even neutrally effective, into Ninetales, except for maybe like a high horsepower. But we see Icicle Spear. So the full move set is revealed at this point. It's Glaive Rush, Icicle Spear, Swords Dance, Protect. So probably running life or loaded dice as well. And now Connor kind of just in a winning position. He could Moonblast. As long as this gets the KO, then he's good to go. Even if not, I don't see Baxcalibur, even at +2, getting the KO in one hit, or I guess 5 hits with Icicle Spear. Also because Ninetales has boosted defense from the snow.
For sure.
But we're really seeing Stax take his time with this next move. He doesn't have any great options. He goes for Protect, I guess just maybe taking the time to think about how the next game is going to go.
Also potentially trying to wait out the snow for the exact reason you mentioned earlier.
Oh, could be, yeah. But,
yeah, and when you're in a position like that, I do think that just kind of like taking your time in this end game, even if it is something where it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that you're either going to win or lose, taking some time there to just ensure that you're clicking the right buttons, but then figuring out that game plan for the next match, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely doesn't hurt to just wait it out if you can. Connor goes for the Moonblast. Does it get the KO? Doesn't quite get the KO. Critical hit,
and it was
too.
a crit. Yeah. I mean, Baxcalibur's no joke.
No joke, but only gets to... Oh, okay, so only 2 hits.
Loaded dice.
Wow, okay. Maybe Clear Amulet. I guess I could see him wanting to go for the Clear Amulet because Connor does, in his 12...
I mean, it can't be Clear Amulet, though, right? Because the special attack drop.
Oh, also true. What item could that be, then? And not a fairy type damage reducing berry either, which I could have seen.
It could be Focus Sash.
It could be. It could be.
Could be Focus Sash.
Yeah, Baxcalibur. I'm kind of surprised that it took that. I mean, wow. All right.
Ninetales has 85 base special attack, I believe.
Is 81 base special attack. Connor's running
81,
Choice Scarf. If he's 252 modest, which I don't know, he might be modest. I'm gonna assume, let's say timid. It would do 60 to 70% about. To
make sure you click the
crit
button, just to make sure.
Click the what button?
Because it was a crit, so like I'm curious to see.
Was a crit for doing crit Moonblast, 90% to 106, so it was a roll and it didn't really work out in Connor's favor. Obviously it worked out in the end, but he could have got that hit. He could have got that KO in one hit with the crit.
Yeah.
Without the crit, still pretty far.
Looking at game 2, how do you think either of these players need to adjust?
I mean, I think Stax made a big mistake by leaving Golden Go alone on the field, pretty vulnerable to the high horsepower, thinking maybe that he would get the one-hit KO with Make It Rain. He must be specs like in a way to like to put yourself in that position and to still think I'm just gonna click Make It Rain. I think it's gonna do enough damage. I would think he's got to be specs or not life orb because Houndoom is life orb. Some kind of damage increasing metal coat could be something like that too. Yeah. Because that was a very confident move, and it didn't work out because Mamoswine with the Steel-type damage-reducing berry really lived that pretty healthily and was able to get that high horsepower. I think it'd be a big mistake to let that happen again, because Golden Go would have been really helpful against the Ninetales for sure. It wasn't great having Baxcalibur be your last piece against the Ninetales.
Yeah. Interesting. And I'm curious to see how Stax kind of incorporates that into his strategy, because I kind of agree with all of your points. I think you need to have Golden Go in the back, but we very much see it out in the front, ready to go. Once again, quite a commanding position here from Stax.
Yeah, he really put all his big damage dealers on the board, and I do see chat on YouTube live stream from someone. Thanks, Jim, for mentioning that. I think Baxcalibur he's talking about is safety goggles. I would imagine just to be able to have a better matchup into Vivian, which Connor didn't even bring, but probably would have been also a good choice for his 6 as a good supporting line. Some funny nicknames also from both players. Connor, of course, with the Christmas themed team, so he's got the little drummer boy and the Christmas ornament sitting on the field. And Stax with also some pretty funny names. Rich Baby Daddy for Golden Go. Launching a Shadow Ball right into the electrode. Another Swords Dance.
Wow.
Really bold move. And he lets the Golden Go down again.
Go down again.
We do see the speed interaction, though. Baxcalibur is faster than Rillaboom. So
for now, until there is the potential for the Electro Web, but at the same time, Baxcalibur is in a really good position. Right?
Yeah.
You have redirection now. You have you kind of have a lot going your way.
Yeah, I think a smart choice would maybe be for Connor to throw out an Electro Web and just switch out Rillaboom, get the terrain control back, and be able to throw out a Fake Out on the next turn.
Actually, it might not be a bad idea to go for Taunt as well.
Ooh, true. I
like if you taunt that off rip, and then you can just bring in your your Mamoswine or your Ninetales.
Yeah, that would put you in a really good position. Indeedee forced to either throw out like a low damage move or just switch out. Really would put Connor in more control of this board state. But now we just wait it out. Neither player choosing to use shiny Pokemon, I just noticed too. Don't know how you feel about...
Shiny Shandy.
Yeah, oh, we did have the shiny Shandy. That's a
shiny
good
Shandy.
choice.
I believe this Ninetales is also shiny.
Those are if you're gonna have shinies, you gotta have the good ones. I personally put most of my Pokemon as shiny when I'm playing in my draft league, but there's one in particular I won't use, and that's Weavile. That is just not a good one in my opinion.
No, I agree. Now, curious if the Indeedee was going for either a damaging attack or potentially Trick Room, expecting the Electro Web. Nope, we're just going straight into Psychic, which is a phenomenal call here.
Yeah, he could. I mean, it was smart because then, like, you either let Rillaboom take a lot of damage, probably a KO from that Icicle Spear if it got all 5 hits, and if he switches out, yeah, you get the nice Psychic damage. It's better than nothing, that's for sure. I didn't get I did see Electrode, you said, went for the Taunt like we had said, not the Electro Web.
Yeah, which I think is the correct decision, but now you're just in this weird spot with Alolan Ninetales where you know that Baxcalibur can just click Protect, and you're very much in KO range from a Psychic, so going for this Moonblast onto the Indeedee.
I think, I think Baxcalibur probably just protects here. Indeedee can't, Indeedee can't follow me. He's got to just either let it go down or...
But I don't know if it goes down here. I don't think it should.
No, nowhere near.
I was like, I just... Ninetales just doesn't have that oomph that you really want it to.
No, and that was really Connor's probably best answer to the Baxcalibur, so it might be a bit more of an uphill battle than he was planning for here.
Well, he still has good options, right? I mean, I do think Mamoswine is a solid bring-in. Specifically because the Indeedee is still taunted, so you can Electro Web, get that speed control, and then hit that Baxcalibur with an Icicle Crash and either get neutral damage off rip, and potentially with a flinch.
True. Yeah, you never know when you're gonna get the flinch from the Icicle Crash. It comes in clutch right when you need it, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, you could even Helping Hand Icicle Crash it, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it gets the KO, but it definitely would be a 2-hit KO if I had to guess. Because now, I mean, the snow working again in Stax's favor, even though it was set by Connor, because you get the defense boost.
Yep. Going for Taunt on a Baxcalibur, I guess that's to prevent further Swords Dances?
Or protects, just to make it unable to protect itself. Like, if he could bring in Rillaboom later and Baxcalibur's unable to protect, he gets a very safe Fake Out into it.
going for high horsepower as well, which is, I believe, high horsepower and Icicle Crash are the same base power. Maybe high horsepower is a little more.
Oh, wow. That was a lot of damage. Maybe it would have been better to go for an Electro Web and Icicle Crash just to get some extra damage in. But, I don't know. It kind of seems sealed up for Stax in this case. Really,
yeah.
Despite losing Golden Go on turn 1, maybe that wasn't as bad as I had expected because he leaned a lot more on Baxcalibur. He was able to eliminate the Ninetales much more quickly than he was last game, and it seemed to work out pretty well.
Yeah, I just think going for that Electro, like, you really, really, really want to prioritize speed, especially now since, I guess, for both Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield, now that we have dynamic speed control, I just think prioritizing that is just so important.
I agree. Yeah, it's that I think was my mistake in some previous Draft League matches, is that I wasn't in control of the speed interactions of the game, and it sometimes you're able to play through a lack of speed control. There's plenty of teams that I think see a lot of success. It's a core function
of balance, right?
Yeah, like work without speed control, just have things like priority, stopping things like fake out to stop your opponent from moving, and redirection, stuff like that.
Yep.
Rather than leaning on the speed control. But I mean, I think in Draft League, if you don't have that option, you put yourself at a worse starting point than what you could be. Like, just to have the option at least of any kind of speed control is really important. Now, I don't know. What are you thinking for Connor for Game 3 to turn this around? Because Stax led a lot better. He had some better positioning, I think, and it seemed pretty tough now.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I'm Connor, right, I think one of the big things that kind of screwed him was losing that Ninetales early, right? And I think Stax is going to bring pretty much that same lead, because he's basically saying, you're either going to need to eat this, make it rain, and I'm going to click Swords Dance with Baxcalibur, and if you don't take care of the Goldengo, you're just going to have to deal with both next turn. Or you need to take care of the Goldengo, and I'm going to get this Bax up for free. Like, I like Stax's early game, and if I'm Connor, I mean, I think Chandelure is fine in this scenario to just threaten immediate damage, but it's how do you take care of that Baxcalibur?
Yeah,
potentially that Lapras. I'm looking at the Lapras as a potential bring into here, just because it just kind of sits there and eats a lot of stuff.
I was thinking about that too. Like, it gets the defense boost from the snow if Ninetales has it set up. Baxcalibur doesn't really do a whole lot besides Glaive Rush, and after it clicks Glaive Rush, it's put itself in a position where it has to protect or get some redirection.
Well, because the Baxcalibur is slower, or is faster than the Lapras, it's just going to click Glaive Rush, and the second anything hits the Baxcalibur after the Glaive Rush, we're done. Yeah, see, it's the exact same lead. I think this is I think Connor made a good adjustment here by basically saying, I can fake out this Baxcalibur and high horsepower the Goldengo. Now, does Stax read into that and swap in the Indeedee into the Goldengo slot just to go for a Swords Dance or something like that? That's the question.
Yeah, this is a very... Now that we're in Game 3, we had 2 leads and many turns of information to go both ways, and now I don't honestly think it would be a bad idea for Baxcalibur to not even protect and just either take a fake out or just go for a Swords Dance, or like Connor double targets like he did into the Goldengo slot.
And here comes the Indeedee.
Yeah, Lil Shorty.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was pretty much the guaranteed play in this situation here. If I would assume that the Baxcalibur is going to be clicking Swords Dance just based off of what we've seen, and if that's the case, yeah. See, there's the Swords Dance. So I think if I'm Connor now, it's positioning this Rillaboom, right? Because the Rillaboom's really nice, if only just for the fake out pressure, right?
Yeah. Oh, and he gets that KO on the Indeedee, which I think is very
Yeah.
important because now once he gets the Rillaboom out of there, he's got speed control or turn control for the rest of the game.
Yeah. I think one thing that Connor could have done differently is actually targeted the Baxcalibur. Like, if I know that the Goldengo is swapping out, my guess is Baxcalibur is not protecting. It doesn't seem like Stax is the type of player to play passively like that based off of the first 2 games we've seen. So potentially doubling into the Baxcalibur with like a double high horsepower or something like that may have also been able to put Connor in a pretty good spot. Depending on how the damage calcs worked, you know?
Yeah, I definitely see your point there. Having the Houndoom in the back, I think, was a smart move still for Stax here.
Yeah, and I think bringing the Shandy in makes total sense. I think Lapras would have been such a good pull into here.
It would have been pretty good, I think. Yeah, Lapras.
Yeah, I think Lapras would have been just in such a good position.
Now let's see how Chandelure maybe takes a +2 Icicle Spear if Baxcalibur does decide to go for that. It does survive.
Not super, like, not as well as I'd like it to.
No, but a couple of things that we know. I need to check actually speed tiers while I'm talking about this, but thinking about the speed interaction for the next turn, Baxcalibur probably slower than Chandelure if I had to guess. Houndoom putting a lot of pressure. Well, he's slower than his Stonejourner, we know, and Chandelure,
But he's
I
faster
assume,
but he's faster than the Mamoswine, correct?
the Baxcalibur faster than the Mamoswine? Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Mamoswine's base 70, Chandelure's base
80.
that is the one column that I hid on my spreadsheet that I have open right now.
It's
so
base 80.
Base 80. Okay, so if he's max speed, Chandelure and Baxcalibur is not really that invested in speed, it could definitely be faster. The Chandelure, not like 100%, but I wouldn't just put it past it.
Yeah, this is tough.
Ooh, surviving the
Beats
flamethrower on
that.
7
That's
HP.
huge.
Really big survive for Rillaboom there, but losing the Chandelure, I mean, I gotta give it to you. You're right. The Baxcalibur is faster.
Yeah, I mean, it's an 87 base speed versus an 80. I mean, we're definitely in that weird range of speed where investment really comes into play here, but it's tough. Also, I'm curious as to why Connor's Mamoswine is oblivious, correct?
It is oblivious, and that is to not get intimidated because Stax does have the option of Staraptor on the team, and it would have been a little rough to get Intimidate cycled by that. He had a pretty safe switch out from the idea I had that Stax could have leaned into is having Goldengo be a switch out to Staraptor, because not often seen Staraptor, but has very good type synergy, I think, as a switch out with Goldengo, because you're avoiding the ghost type attacks that would threaten Goldengo and the ground type, and then Goldengo eats any ice type attacks that would be threatening the Staraptor. And Connor's team full of ice type attacks that would be pretty devastating to take otherwise.
So if I'm Connor, I think, to jump in on the play right now, I think what might be best is targeting and I guess it's tough because that Houndoom is just going to kind of take care of business. Mm-hmm. So I get Connor's desire to go in and start taking care of that, but I think double targeting the backs or targeting down the backs might be the play. Obviously, I was expecting a double protect here, to be honest. I was not expecting the swap into Goldengo, which was phenomenal play there.
Yeah, definitely. Connor would be lucky to get a nice little special attack drop there, which he does. Kind of cool.
Yeah.
Not going to let him take a Make It Rain on Ninetales, though, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Does have a switch out in the back. I don't remember what the last was. I know we lost Chandelure before, so it'd be Mamoswine.
Yeah, and you just don't want to take that. Yeah, I think double target Excalibur makes sense here. It's tough. That might not be
Moonblast coming
enough.
in. No,
Yeah,
no
that's
crit the
not
second time
enough.
around, unfortunately. Golden Go gets to
And that
make it
just
rain.
clears. Yeah.
With only Mammoth Swine in the back, I think this unfortunately might be it for Connor. But very well played, I will say. Like, to have, I think Connor's team was vastly underestimated by people going through the power rankings as the season started. Um, you know, people see a Christmas team and they say, okay, this is a joke. It's not going to win any games. But Connor really gave me a run for my money. I think he's played every week that he has very well. And against a team like Stax, which has a lot of offensive pressure, he's really been holding his own.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, to clear game one off of, a clever team building tech that really just kind of steamrolled the situation. And not really missing on too many play calls here. It's not, I mean, Connor's been playing incredibly well. I think maybe Lapras could have been a better utilized in this game, but even then, it still doesn't appreciate a Make It Rain from Goldengo.
No, it doesn't.
Still doesn't appreciate if Goldengo has Thunderbolt or anything like that, right? Because we've only seen Make It Rain and Shadow Ball from this Goldengo.
Yeah, it makes me think that this is either Spexed or Scarfed.
Yeah.
The Glaive Rush, I think, seals it up.
Yeah, that should clear here. Yeah.
Very well played game from both sides. I mean, I think Connor had a really good... That game one, he played it very well. He left himself in a position where Ninetales could sweep at the end, but I think Stax adapted very well and was able to adjust and make sure that Ninetales was gone before it really made any threat to the Excalibur.
Right. Well, and I think also Stax realizing just not that Ninetales wasn't a threat to Excalibur, but it was less of a threat to the backs than maybe initially thought.
True.
Allowed Stax to be a little more aggressive with his Excalibur play.
Yeah, now we can just maybe wait for Connor to come into the call and see what he has to think about
get
after.
the interview.
Get the post-match interview. We don't have Stax on our stream. He's streaming on their own Twitch. So we'll have the losers interview, unfortunately. Would have liked to see the win from Connor, but you win some, you lose some. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, of course. And like we were both saying, I think, Connor had a really fun team idea for the season, right? Everybody loves a good theme team. Mm-hmm. And to turn it into something that's actually, able to put up a good fight, I think is incredibly commendable and respectable. Yeah,
no one, I think, expected much from the Christmas team, including Connor himself, but...
yeah, but hey, that Delibird... All I'm saying,
we're still waiting for the Delibird.
Terrifying Choice Band, Hustle, Aerial Ace, Delibird, almost Oko's or Rillaboom.
Yeah, now that we're just waiting for Connor, we can run those calcs. We got the Delibird set.
Oh, there he is.
There he is. We're about to start running Delibird calcs, so thank God you came back.
Yeah, we are ready for the players' interview. Connor, after a well-fought match, what are your initial thoughts coming out of it?
Game one was good. I think I had a lot of good reads throughout the match, but the problem is that I just didn't position well in game 2 and game 3. One thing in the team building is that I over-indexed on Ribombee, right? I thought that maybe they were gonna try to bring a Tailwind mode, or at the very least, even if there's no Tailwind, because most of their mons are naturally faster than me. I was thinking, okay, you bring, for example, Fake Tears on your Ribombee, right? Or Pollen Puff. I think Moonblast does pretty good into some of my mons. Pollen Puff is super effective into a couple of different potential team members. So I over-indexed on that being a potential piece of their team, and then the fact that wasn't part of their set. Some of the choices that I made kind of proved out to be worthless, right? So for example, the Clear Amulet on Chandelure, I had picked that in anticipation that they would bring Rabombi, right? Because my thought process was, okay, make them waste a turn on fake tiers, and then the set lives most Shadow Ball from Goldango. It lives like most specs. It lives a lot of different stuff. And then as you saw, like I think there was a turn when the Chandelure just got one shot, right? Like there was no Focus Sash. So I think that was kind of a too niche of a bring. And like again, some of my positioning wasn't as good. They protected their Goldango really well in game 3. They preserved it till the end. I didn't take. Yeah. I just think they positioned and played really well. Game 2 and game 3. The NDD was also a good adjustment because I think that they knew that I wanted the terrain as well.
Yeah, and I think that Dan and I were talking about the Ninetales specifically and that interaction with the Baxcalibur, and just how I think once Stax saw, even with the crit, it still wasn't taking out that Baxcalibur, kind of gave them the freedom to be like, all right, I can just kind of be a lot more aggressive with my team, just because the damage trades are going to always be in my favor.
Yeah, if I had to run it back, the scarf was fun. I would have liked to either knowing that it's scarf, I would have either paired it with more helping hand partners or like adjusted to life orb or specs.
That would have been a good choice too, I think.
I also didn't really. I know when we were reviewing the teams beforehand, Dakota, you were like, "Oh, they're definitely bringing backs." I actually didn't even expect it, to tell you the truth. I thought that they might avoid because of the Ninetales. But here we are.
Yeah. No, Ninetales is as I've just used it in the GC and LAIC. It does not do a lot of damage.
No, unfortunately not. It's not great as a damage dealer. It's a really good supporting Pokemon, but I mean,
the things that it needs to hit, it hits, right?
Yeah.
Especially with like Blizzard and Freeze Dry, it can certainly do some good damage. But no, I think he played it well. There were definitely some interesting things Dan and I were talking about. I think we thought Lapras could have been a potential Game 3 adjustment. May have been able to stave off the Baxcalibur a little bit better. I think you were really good at handling that Goldango in games 1 and 2. And if you had the Lapras in the end game versus the Baxcalibur, I think you would have been in a great position. Glaive Rushes aren't super fun to take, but I think you can hit back for a lot of damage after that initial Glaive Rush, and then just, slowly recover with leftovers as a potential adjustment.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Like, my Lapras, it has Terra Blast Fire, which if I had Snow Up, I probably wouldn't pick that. I probably wouldn't Terra in the face of a 1v1 on backs. But I would, if the Houndoom was there, I would need to click it though, right? Because if the Houndoom only had a Dark, I'm assuming it had like Dark Pulse, Flamethrower, and Terra Blast. Terra Blast Grass type is super effective into Lapras, so I would have had to Terra there, which means that I'm taking the Glaive Rush for neutral, which would have been.
Oh yeah, no, I'm looking at the calcs now.
To fight against, and then like I'm also Sheer Cold, as opposed to some other stuff. So like the chances of that.
Sheer Cold doesn't even work on ice types.
Never in your favor, and it doesn't work on ice types. You're right.
Something I hadn't considered before, but yeah, would have actually left you in a pretty difficult position against the Baxcalibur. I don't know. There really isn't a lot on your team that I think handled it well. So I think it was a really good choice from Stax to go with the Baxcalibur mode. And I wasn't considering it as much either. We were, I think, all very indexed on... I mean, besides Dakota. Dakota was the one that brought up Baxcalibur. We were thinking a lot about Goldango. Obviously, Goldango is just a very good Pokemon in normal formats and in Draft League even, too. A little bit more difficult, I think, to work with out in a format that... like the one we're playing, where you're not allowed to Terra all of your Pokemon. But yeah, the Baxcalibur right there.
Yeah, I mean, and I think, as somebody who's played a lot of Snow in this generation, I think when Bax Caliber is relevant or on an opposing team and they see that I have Snow, or if I'm the Bax player and I see somebody else has Snow, it's similar to when you see a rain team and you have a water type, right? I might as well take advantage of that weather bonus, right? They're not going to be doing a lot to me. Baxcalibur takes neutral to ice type damage, right? And I can certainly fire back with some either a really powerful glaive rush or in this case some crazy icicle spears, non-loaded dice as far as we're aware, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that was an interesting pick for me.
I think it was a bold play, but I also think that I get where they're coming from, right? Because you don't want to rely on Icicle Crash, right? I'd rather rely on an inconsistent damage output than something that will just straight miss, right? Especially after +2. If I'm guaranteed at least a 50 base power move at +2, that's better than missing Icicle Crash, right?
That's
so I get the design decision there. But yeah, super well done, Connor. I love the team. I love the Pokemon you drafted. I think that was so cool.
Yeah, I'm just trying to have the best possible time with the 12 that I picked, and I kind of went into it saying like I just want to get as many mons that are as themed as closely to the holidays and Christmas as possible, and just try not to trade any of them away and do the best as I can with the 12 and see where it takes me.
And what are the standings for the season?
I can pull that up right here. 1 second. So our league is split into.
Screen so I can also see.
Oh yeah, sorry. Let me share a window if my computer doesn't crash on me while I'm doing this.
I'm loading in.
Okay, so you should be able to see the spreadsheet now. So our league is split into 2 divisions, and there are also 2 conferences. So this is our conference. This is our side of the conference to the Hearthflame division. And it's not fully updated yet. So Connor now, after losing this week, will be 1-3. Jake won his first week yesterday in our stream, so he's 1-3.
1-3.
Stax now 2-2, so moving up pretty far in the rankings, I think. He'll probably be number 3. Actually, he'll be tied with me because he'll have the same number of game wins and losses. And with Connor, it will be 1-2. It will be Connor will end up higher than Alol and Jonah because he'll have 1 game win higher than Jonah. But that's how this side works. And then Quick just got his first loss, which, I mean, he's had an incredible season going so far. And like I said yesterday, I'm not surprised at all. And the other side of the division, we only play, I think, people on the other division twice throughout the season. Our schedule has 2 intra-conference weeks. So it was week 3, I played against Miss Madge. Connor played against KD. And then our week 6, in 2 weeks, it'll be another intra-conference.
Okay.
And this is what their side is looking like. KD and Anno both undefeated as it stands. I think they also played their matches for this week already. If I look at report match stats in our Discord server, Darius, who I believe is KD, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember, honestly. It's hard to remember sometimes people have different Discord names than their like what they're reporting in the spreadsheet. But anyway, they're both doing very well. Mega Man also doing well. Like Mega Man, I remember being very, very like methodical and good player last season, watching his VODs, and he is the other one that has commentators playing or talking on his stream while he plays. So the inspiration for what we're doing right now. And next week, Connor, who are you playing? Connor playing Alola Jonah, and it's gonna be me and Jake next week. Friendly Fire.
Big match there.
So I know it's Friendly Fire, and we're like, we don't want to take out our friends, but I think me and Jake have, we both have a little bit of a rivalry, some heavy competition between each other. So I'm very excited. I'm glad he won this week because now I won't feel as bad when I kick his ass next week.
Love to hear that.
I think you both won your last week's match, right?
We did, yeah. Yeah, so if I were to, so that would shoot him up in the rankings pretty fast too if he were to win, and that would put me and him at a tied record, which I don't want. So I'm gonna win. I'm just planning on that.
That's a good call.
Yeah, but I think I will end the stream now. Thank you everyone who tuned in. We're gonna keep trying to do this as much as we can